Some athletes compete to win, others for the love of the game, but one team does both and then some. The players may not run or jump, but they're bringing a new sense of courage on the court. Nick Fonner grew up in Matson, but when he was 17 years old, his life changed forever.
I was a car accident. I was a victim of a hit and run.
13 years later, his injury is still a part of his daily life, but not in the way you might think.
Get the initial talk from the doctor of, you're never going to walk again, you have a spinal cord injury, and you have a huge drop. And then you kind of go over for a day or so, and then you're back up high. But then as you start seeing images or parts from your past that remind you of, the previous life of being able to walk.
In the years before he was paralyzed, Fonner was a competitive gymnast, making it to state his junior year of high school. But he had a work ethic and a competitive spirit. Sports weren't about to leave his life. Fonner has been a wheelchair rugby player for 11 years. He and his teammates on the Chicago Bears push hard, hit even harder. The game consists of 4 players on a team. The object is to score a goal while the other team tries to block. Hitting is allowed. Hard hitting is even better. Dan Sauber has been playing with the Bears for 4 years. After a diving accident left him with 3 broken vertebrae, he was forced to find a new outlet for his athleticism.
Rugby's a game, but it's also a peer group. You've got a bunch of guys that have been through the same things as you have. They figured out things that you hadn't figured out.
And players say the sense of community that is common in most team sports runs a little deeper here. Dr. David Chen is the medical director of the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago's Spinal Cord Rehab program. The institute sponsors the team. He says the benefits of the sport are endless.
Has the individual utilizing, as much of the residual neurologic function that they can, they certainly get a terrific cardiac workup from it. Certainly in the area of competitive sports and competitive activities, being able to return to that type of activity is very beneficial.
Most of the athletes here never thought they'd have the opportunity to play a sport like this. But with the possibility of Chicago receiving the 2016 Olympic Games, the opportunities for quadriplegic athletes in the city might just receive a big boost.
One of the things that we're working very closely on right now is World Sports Chicago, our legacy organization that's coming out of the 2016 bid.
Linda Mastandria is a 15-time Paralympic gold medalist and is now the director of Paralympic sport for the 2016 bid committee. She says the Olympic legacy will have an effect for generations to come.
To kind of expand the awareness of the programs and outreach to the kids themselves so that they are aware that increasing availability of programs exists and that they have a program in their neighborhood they can participate in.
Fonner is an aspiring Paralympian himself and tried out for the 2008 Paralympic team. He didn't make it, but plans to go for 2012.
The level of intensity is just unbelievable. It's nonstop.
Most people are surprised when they see the game for the first time.
They just can't fathom the idea that a guy that's already, gone out and broken his neck at some point in his life is going to get in a chair and do that.
Maybe it's the life experience. Maybe it's their competitive nature. But the players on this team have a perspective on life that is deeper than most.
When you first get hurt, that's how you define yourself, is how you get hurt. And that's why we make fun of it, because we no longer define yourself on how you got injured or what your injury is. You're still a person, you're still an individual.
A disability is no reason to give up on life, you know what I mean? As long as you got air coming in out of your lungs, you wake up, see a beautiful day, hey, it's good to me, you know what I mean? It's good.
The Bears' season is over for now, but the lessons learned on the court bring them new strength off the court and stay with these courageous players all year long. Off the court, Nick Fonner works for a consulting firm that helps people who recently suffered catastrophic injuries. He helps them return to their lives in a meaningful way. I'm Dan Lambert, Medill Reports.